Γεια σας. Welcome to Greek Like Me, the podcast about all things Greek. I'm your host, Pamela Diotis Wood. Email us at stealthgreek@gmail.com to share comments, questions, and stories about anything and everything Greek. Gus Constantellis is my favorite Greek-American comedian. He went viral in 2020 with a video impersonating his mother at Easter, linked in the episode notes. Countless viewers fell in love with Gus and his mother, Yulia. Before she died unexpectedly, they'd planned on writing a cookbook together. My Greek Mom's Recipes comes out in April 2026 as a tribute to Yulia. It's packed with recipes for delicious Greek favorites, accompanied by a series of vignettes linking every dish to a memory, a laugh, or an acknowledgement of grief. The book is a funny, heartwarming, heartbreaking glimpse into their complicated relationship and how Gus is coming to terms with the loss of his mom. I am so happy to welcome you to Greek Like Me. You are my favorite Greek American comedian. You're a gay icon. You're so much fun.
Thank you.
And now you've done the cookbook, My Greek Mom's Recipes, and I loved it. I loved it. I read it. I read it like a beach read.
Oh, you read it? Oh, they sent it to you.
I have the PDF.
Oh, great. I did not know that. That's great.
Yes. So one of the first I'd like to say, Aeon Mnimi, memory eternal.
Thank you.
That you and your mom meant a lot to many of us, starting with the
Thank you.
pandemic, and helped us get through it. After your first video went viral, the Greek Easter one, there's like 20 friends and I that regularly trade. Have you seen this one yet? Have you seen that one yet?
So cute. I love that. I'm making kulurakia today, actually, which is so funny.
You
Yeah.
are. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. My kitchen is like all ready for it.
I have not done much Greek cooking in a while, but reading through these recipes, and we came from a region not too far
Oh, nice.
from your mom, like 72 miles. We're Kiparissia.
Oh,
So
yeah, I know exactly where that is.
we're cousins.
Probably.
Maybe I'm your auntie. They look like they're very similar type of
Nice.
recipes that I grew up with. So
Very nice. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really worried about with the book is like every other like someone did it differently and someone said like this is wrong and it's like this is just everyone does it a little differently. Relax a little bit.
yeah, come on. It's all delicious. Did it help you through the grieving process to continue on with the book that you guys had discussed?
It did. Yeah. I mean, it really did. I didn't think I was going to do it. And then when I posted that first video and everyone was like, just do the book. Why not? And the main concern was like, how am I going to get all these recipes? Because I have a few of them and several, but like, it was really with her, it would have just been a different process of like really sitting there and like, and I did that for a lot of them before she died, but
Yeah.
it was just like, I didn't get to have that experience. So it was more about me really processing while trying to cook. And sometimes I failed. And that was really part of the grieving process because it's like that really mirrors what it is like of like
Yeah.
those ups and downs. Like one day you feel good, one day you get the portocalopita perfect. The next day you can't even make fucking fasolakia for some reason. And you're like, what is going on? And so it was really helpful. And honestly, what I would do is every day I would write and then I would hit like a wall where I was like, and now I'm too sad. And then I would put the laptop away.
Yeah.
Actually, we're done today. But it was really helpful. That and dance music was really helpful. Cooking and music, which I think are two of the most important things in Greek culture. So,
Yeah. For real.
like
Yeah.
really healing through dancing and healing through food.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the way you mentioned in the book that that was the real love connection, was not the language, not the religion, even though it's a big part of us, but the food is the way we connect with our moms and our yayas and the whole family. And that was really, really special. I'd like to talk about the setup of the book a little bit because 75 recipes, which is impressive right there. And each one had its own little vignette. Every time I picked it up, there I was with this beautiful, hilarious story, some of that I could connect to the videos or other things that you had said. And then your grieving process, which also meant a lot to me because it takes a long time and you think you're past it and then you hit that
Yeah.
speed bump again. Yeah, so
Um, yeah, it's that, one for year one was one type of beast, and then year two was a different type of beast.
yeah.
And now year three is its own type of beast. So, and it all feels different, but it's all like little steps along the way that you take.
And I love how you said when people said she'd be so proud of you, you said, "No, she wouldn't be proud, she'd be pissed."
She'd be so pissed. She was like, she'd be like, without me, where'd you get these recipes for my sister? You know, my sister doesn't know how to cook as good as me. She would not be happy, but she would be happy with the stories. I think some of the stories. It's funny because I was worried about like my other family members seeing some of those stories because not that I wasn't kind to people, but I was super real. Like I
Yeah.
was really not like trying to depict a perfect American family because it wasn't.
Mm.
And like my brother messaged me like, "Oh, this is great," and I thought he was gonna be furious, honestly. But yeah, there's a lot of that. Even at the end of the book, I say like, you weren't the perfect mom, but you were one of the greatest of all time, and I really
Yeah.
do stand by that. And I think that's the case for a lot of the way that people feel about their moms.
It really is, and I think there's an extra dimension when it's an immigrant mom, and my mother was a lot like your mother in many ways. She had that immigrant mentality still, even though she was born here, which I never really got that at all. I didn't get that.
There's little things that like come up that I'm like, oh no, I'm just like her now, I'm just like her. Like someone that's like, oh, my lower back hurts, I can't go to work. I go to work, okay, you stretch, go to work, smoke a cigarette, I don't care.
Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, the sick days thing had me almost crying, where your mother finally said, "I want peace in the house, that's why you're not allowed
Yeah,
to stay home for a sick day."
literally, yeah, it was really funny because we were poor, so it was like five of us in a two bedroom or like a very
Mm.
small, like a small apartment. So it was, she really wanted her peace and quiet.
Enough already.
Enough. Yeah. Um, yeah.
So how did you decide on the setup that you were gonna do the little stories before each
I
recipe?
actually didn't think that what I was doing was that unique or different. And then my publisher was like, this is really unique. Like, we haven't really seen anything like this before. And even like a few weeks ago, they told me, they were like, this is going to be like trendy now. Like, other publishers are going to want to do exactly this now.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think, I just thought, well, how am I going to make all the videos I had with her somehow part of this cookbook?
Mm.
And that was the way I could do it, is just tell stories and tell the stories I told in the videos, but also add more about my family and just fill out that thing. So when I was pitching it to the publishing companies, I really pitched it as half memoir, half cookbook, which they hated because you can't do that with book worlds, because just the book industry in general doesn't want you to do that. Like, it's two genre mashups. But in my opinion, it is a memoir slash cookbook. It is kind of that, and that's kind of why I think it's so, like, I really was taking from that book Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, who wrote about her mom dying of cancer. And I was just thinking about, like, I need to tell this story, and now I can tell this. And she also talks about doing it, cooking her mom's Korean food, but
Mhm.
it's just a memoir. But I was like, well, I'm gonna add an extra element to this, which is I'm gonna put the recipes in there and actually try to like match these together. But from the very beginning, that was the idea. The idea was just like, I'm gonna write a story, each one will come up with a recipe. And I truly didn't think I was doing anything weird until everybody told me I was.
I loved it. To me, it was like each story prepped me for going into the recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
The keftedes, that was the first recipe you learned from your
Mhm.
mother, and after she passed away a couple of days later, that was what you wanted, and that's what you went
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It felt very cathartic. Like, and I wasn't going to, I was just standing in Trader Joe's, like, it was so packed. And then I was like, you know what? There was no meatballs. I was like, I gotta make these meatballs. I want these meatballs, then I'm gonna make these meatballs. And it
Mm.
was, yeah, it's a very cathartic thing to do. Um, and it's funny because with some of the bakes, the first time I tried them after she died, like Gurabiedes, for example, like I really was able to just do it by memory. Like I really was
Oh,
able to be like,
right.
"Oh, the dough feels right. The dough feels right. I know."
Yes.
Now I when she says like with the flour, she's always like, "Ocho pari," however much it takes with flour. Use your
Right.
eye, mapati. And like it really was a moment where I was like, I had like 8 cups of flour, and then I put like six. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, 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 it needs a little bit more. And then I was like, there's the dough, and we're good. We can
Yeah.
start. And it was weird that those things just came back to me like that. Because some things I hadn't even helped her with since I was like a kid. So it was just like I don't know. It was nice. It was nice to be like I have this in me somehow.
Right. We started making the tsureki for Easter while my mother was still alive. And it was always, it had to be the feel. And sometimes it would be the 5 pounds of flour, and sometimes it'd be less, and sometimes it would be more. And my daughter now usually makes it. And she'll come and say, "Does that feel right to you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
Yeah,
that's the way you have to tell. It has to feel right. So
exactly,
I love
exactly.
that by the hufta or metomati or
Yeah,
so by the handful or with the eyes or with the
and I'm
feel.
really happy that my publisher was able to like let all those little stupid, silly things in there. Like they really enjoyed that. That I was able to put like things like that in the book, and they just kept it in there. I was happy with that. Like flavor of like, oh, this really was some just Greek mom cooking.
I have a friend who's taking a cooking class with you. She just
Oh
told
yeah,
me
we're
the other
doing like
day.
a Oak Street class.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an online class. I think we're gonna do macaronopita.
Ooh,
Yeah.
she'll be in. She was like, "Are we doing Galactic Booty Call?"
No, but we will be working because the macaronopita does have filo, so it will be helpful for galactoburico in terms of like using the filo and learning
Oh,
how to work that well.
bravo. Are you going to be doing a number of those throughout the
I'm not sure. I probably will be doing cooking demos throughout. I think we're talking to some like restaurant in Toronto that wants me to do like a restaurant like pop up, which I think would be fun.
Oh, that's
But I'm
cool.
not sure yet about like what else is going to come up because between like now and probably like September, it's going to be like
Book
go.
tour. Are you going to be doing stand up as well in between?
Yeah. So I'm doing a bunch of comedy clubs as part of the book tour, and the books are going to be sold at the shows at the
Nice.
comedy clubs, which will be really nice. And or we'll have like a vendor with like some way to buy the book. And if you bring it, there'll be like a meet and greet where we can do signings and stuff. And
Oh,
the
that's great.
comedy clubs are going to be fun because I'm crafting like a whole new show for the book tour that's just about the book. And so I want to really incorporate all the things I talked about in the book and also all the things that helped me throughout the grieving process. So it's going to be stand up, but it's also going to be a lot of music and a lot of
Uh-huh.
like different types of media that like come together to like tell the story. Because I'm going to be doing readings from the book. I'm going to be doing my Greek mom character a little bit, and I'm going to be DJing. There's going to be some sort of like DJing aspect, and then there's also stand up. So I'm really writing like a really interesting kind of like show that's about healing through dance, healing through food, and also like what the experience was like writing this book in the 2 years after my mom died.
That sounds great. That
Yeah, I'm
sounds.
really excited about it.
What other recipes did you find the most comforting when you were going through this, when you were trying to chase them down?
The caridopita because I love her caridopita.
My God,
I
yeah.
think and it turned out that one I was really worried about because I was like, this is probably something I'm not going to be able to get right, and I did get it really right. It was good.
Nice. Ah,
And then I really like the sutsukakya. I think they're so good. They're so yummy and moist. Macaronia mekima is like my favorite thing in the world.
my comfort food. That's my
It's like my
comfort food.
favorite thing. Every time I tell Americans about it, they're like, cinnamon, what? I don't want sweet bolognese. And I'm like, just try this. And they're like, this is the homiest thing I've ever eaten in my life. And I'm like, yep, this is so good.
It is the best. I have a cousin who makes it all the time, but she doesn't like cinnamon. And I'm like, "What is wrong with you? Is because you're half Italian? What is wrong with you? What
It's so
happened?"
the Italians really with the cinnamon. And I'm like,
There
you know,
ah.
food in Italy, in actual Italian food, does have this flavor profile too.
Well, I'll show her your cookbook and then she'll know. Um, there were so many delicious recipes, the avrolemano, which I'm looking at, which looks less complicated than my mother's, and you were cracking me up as you were looking for these recipes, and your Aunt Zoe who kept giving you a different version every time you asked her?
That's what I learned how to do. I was like, I gotta ask her I gotta ask because what I really learned to do this. I was like, I gotta ask her like 2 or 3 times for each recipe. So like the first time she would give it to me, the second time she would give it to me, and it would be like, oh, there's 3 more ingredients now. And then the third time would be like a little bit closer. And then her husband, my Theo Yanni, would come in and be like, no, no, you forgot this. And I'd be like, what? How? And then she would yell at him because he's half Cypriot. So she would be like, that's the Cypriot way. It's not the Greek way. It's the Greek way. And they're screaming and screaming and yelling. And then she's also watching the grandkids at the same time. So then the grandkids are running in. And then I'm like, so how do you make Briam?
That is so
So that's how I
cute.
learned how to do it. It's really funny. I have all the recordings on my phone. So I have to find a way to like make content about it because it really is so funny.
Oh, you do, you do. I would love to hear that because
She would also sometimes like FaceTime me just to be like, okay, and she'd go to the freezer and she'd be like, this much meat, and she would zoom in on like the and I was like, I don't know, man.
that is so funny. But this is it, through trial and error, you finally came across what it was supposed to taste like. But your mother did write down some of the recipes because I know you were saying that it was impossible to read them.
She did. She had a lot of those. She had a lot of them in the recipe book, and then a lot of them were like some things she gathered from friends and stuff. The problem with that recipe book is that it wasn't exactly her recipes, so I had
Mhm.
to try them and then alter and then try and then alter. Some of them, like the carizopita, that's exactly like what she wrote down. Like
Uh,
borokshakya, exactly like what she wrote down. But some things, it was like, okay, well, I don't know what she's saying here. Plus, I think it needs like baking powder, and she didn't put baking powder here. So I had to like really, fix some of those things.
oh, and tasting it and saying, yeah, this is closer, this is closer.
Yeah.
I haven't had my mother's Vasilopita. She died 13 years ago. And she made always, I never made the Vasilopita before. Oh, I found the recipe because we're still going through her things and we're looking at this recipe and going, what? I didn't have little drawings and things.
That's so funny.
It was, and it, after I made it, I realized, oh, I was supposed to go here and then go over here and then go down here and then go back over here. I got very emotional again. And this is what's going to happen is that it doesn't matter that it was 13 years. There are certain things that are just going to bring up missing your
Mm, yeah.
mom, and it's going to keep coming up.
Absolutely. Like this has happened a lot in the last 2.5 years. Like with every new thing that happens, there's also just like a tinge of like, oh, I forget. Like, I think all of my close friends have gotten married since she died.
Oh gosh.
So it really did feel like, oh, I broke up with my ex for 5 years, like right at that time. So it was really like, oh, I'm in a very different place in my life than everybody else right now. And so every mother son dance, I was like, I'm gonna leave the room. Thank you very much. I'm out of here.
Mm.
And there was a moment with I have a boyfriend now, and we just started dating, and I met his parents recently, and I had a really he was like, how did it go? Did you like them? And I just started bawling. And I was like, I loved them. And I'm sad that I will never get to experience this with my mom and you. And it just was like, it really hit me in that moment where I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah, that's an experience I'm never going to get to have again. Or even this book, I just won't ever get to have that experience of her seeing it. So it's just, you have to kind of like each step be able to sit with that a little bit in order to just let yourself feel the joy that you're feeling.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
grief,
Mhm.
if need be, because she's not there to yell at you and tell you what you did wrong either.
Yeah. I'm sure even with some of the pictures, like, you're not supposed to put olives there. You're like, okay, whatever.
Why you put it in that dish? Yes, I can only imagine. And by the way, I love the photos that you did include. It was the whole thing was like a real family
Yeah, that's what I
feeling
wanted it
through
to
it.
feel like. And a lot of so not all, but a lot of the dishes and stuff used in the pictures are hers. Like if
Um,
I didn't like mark which ones, but there's one on the cover, there's a few things just throughout the book, like plating and bowl wise, that are hers. So it is like pictures, but it's her throughout in small ways.
yeah, you with the kutala, brandishing the kutala.
I never thought they were going to use that picture. I was just kidding around during the photo shoot, and I was like, "Don't use this," and then boom, it's in there.
It's perfect. It's perfect because I don't know a single Greek mother that didn't wield the kutala.
Like exactly like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they're in the kitchen. It's in the kitchen. It's very handy because I'm always in the kitchen. Here it is. That was my mother's favorite. Yeah, she had we were three kids also, and she had a large, medium, and small, one
That's
for each of
hilarious.
us. Yeah.
It's so funny.
And seeing in a way, I mean, we could kind of see how the rest of your family was going through the grieving process at the same time. But you shared enough for us to see the journey and to be able to relate to the journey, like that you made the koliva for her.
Yeah, and like it was the Nimoshina. It's funny because I'm not a very religious person, and it's not something I really go for. But the concept of Nimoshina
Yeah.
and the concept of every year doing something as routine as tradition for this person is so rooted in true psychological behavior.
Mm,
Like it's in there, it's in religion because it really is something that like you have to go through and you have to pass and you have to let yourself have time to let pass. So like every year doing Goliva and every or no Psikosavata doing Goliva, it's like it is religion's way of telling you to sit the fuck down
mm,
and be sad for a second. And you're allowed that and you can and it can pass through you no matter what. So I'm allowing you this time to let it pass through you.
yeah.
So I do really appreciate that like tradition. Yeah. I feel my dad with the book, and he was like, "Goliva, namufchek semena Goliva tan pesano," and I'm like, "Here we fucking go." Now the other one's talking about it.
But
Hmm.
you mentioned how hard it was that as you were going through, because you went through huge life changes. A lot of people seem to think you should move on with it, or assumed that you're okay now. And that
Yeah.
is something I really appreciate about our Greek culture, is that you're allowed to not be okay at
Mhm.
times, that you're
Yeah.
allowed to talk about the person who's gone.
All the time if you want to.
Yeah,
Literally if you want to. Like just saying stories about my mom, sometimes people get a little like, but I'm like, it's just a funny story. It's not tinged with sadness. Like she lived a life and I had a life with her. So how can I not bring her up in every moment, you know? If it pertains to the moment.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it was interesting because I really wanted like there was a point during writing this book where I was like, okay, do I now include my brothers? Do I now include my dad? Do I now include her friends and some other family members? And then it started getting very big and in a
Mm.
bigger way that I think wasn't really about her or what this was. Because when I really sat down and looked at the first draft, I was like, oh, this really is a mother son story. And the
Yeah.
videos that I did with her were just me and her. For the most part, it was like our interaction with me behind the camera talking to her. And so I really kind of at a certain point wanted this book to feel like this relationship, me and her,
Mhm.
me grieving her, and what this experience was like, told through my perspective, but without everybody else, because I think it would have been too much. And I think that that's just a clearer story, in my opinion. There was a moment where I was like, do I start interviewing my dad? And I think it was just like, no, this is me and my mom's story. And I want to keep it like that in a way.
They all made little cameos in there, which was nice. But it really was
Yeah.
about you and what you were going through. And this was a project that you were going to do together.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was really perfect. And her personality keeps coming through.
Hmm.
Not just in the videos that you're still putting out, but through the stories, like the grudges. That was so hilarious. And that's sort of how you started with your first Atola, you beats. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you started with the grudges, and it's like, oh God, yeah, they're there. That's so funny. It's so relatable. And it also is how we got to know her. So for your fans and her fans, your joint fans, it's a way of staying a little bit close to her and being able to get to know a little bit more about her and about your dynamic, which is, I think you did a perfect balancing job with this. And I
Thank you.
I actually could have done a podcast episode on like every one of these vignettes.
I'm
She's
so
like,
happy because I really worked so hard on those, and I really hope that like everybody that gets the book really sits down and reads them because I think that is the heart of like I mean, yeah, the recipes, but like I'm not a chef. So you're not getting Alison Roman style recipes here. So you're getting a story, you're getting a real perspective, and I think it's all like one thing together. So I think, yeah, the vignettes I think are like the most important part for me. And so I'm so excited that you read them, honestly, because it really was like, yeah, I want people to be like, I want people to make Coloquio que ustedes and think about what I said. You know what I mean? Like I want them to be like making Briam, really thinking about like parental relationships with and sibling relationships. Like
Yeah,
important.
it is. It's like home cooking in more than one way. It is like the recipes and the connection, which you get. I mean, I have many Greek friends, but I have most of my friends growing up were not Greek. They were
Mhm.
like from everywhere were on the planet. And they always thought the stories that I would tell were hilarious, but they didn't really relate to them. And there were
Mhm.
times when I went through things or I dealt with things like your mother didn't really, and it's like, oh, you have
Yeah.
no
You
idea.
don't have you don't know what I've been through.
You have no clue that never mind generational trauma. What's about the trauma, the mama trauma? Come on. So it for me, it's always so much fun. And for the longest time, I'm your mom's age. So I'm a generation ahead of you, trying to find books or entertainment or whatever that included my experience or understood my experience, which is when people like complain about inclusiveness, I get so pissed off. My experience, I could only get that when I was interacting with Greek friends.
You know, it's so funny because I actually just had this conversation with a couple of friends the other day because they were asking me about like my upbringing and I told them and they were like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah, I think a lot of people just assume I'm like a little white boy from Connecticut, but I'm not." Like I'm like a little rich white boy from Connecticut and it's like that is not my lived experience at all. Like I speak three languages. I had an immigrant upbringing. We had a very poor upbringing and I grew up in the city in Brooklyn. I am not like some Midwestern corn-fed boy. I'm so like, and that's I think a lot of people just assume that by just my personality and my energy.
Yeah.
And then when they get to know me, they're like, oh, you know game. Okay, never mind.
this
Never mind. Yeah.
this is a whole totally different situation. It can be funny
Mhm.
from both ends too, where people
Yeah.
will say things assuming that you're from a certain background, and it's sort of like,
Nope.
okay.
Let me tell you. Yeah, exactly.
Now we talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was to be able to relate to that. I still get excited now because I went through my whole teenage years and my young adulthood. Now that so much is coming out, and I see that's why your videos get me so excited. Because like, yes, this is this is what happened to me. This is what I went through. And I think a lot of people from a lot of ethnicities get excited about that because here it is represented, and it is part of the American experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is where I think social media is just so wonderful. Like none of this would have happened because of social media. Like no one in Hollywood was going to see a video of my mom and be like, "Oh, we should give her a show." That's not how
Yeah,
Hollywood works. The people on top are they don't know
they're
anything.
clueless. They're totally
And
clueless.
social media has really allowed people of very different backgrounds to find audiences because I think what Hollywood has misunderstood for the longest time is that people don't care if people are different from them as long as they're entertaining.
Yes,
Like there's
exactly.
there's so many people that aren't Greek that follow me that love my mom that would just read translations of her, didn't even speak Greek. And I'd be like, that's crazy. And there's so many other characters like that online. Like there's that Filipino mom that I really love. There's all these random weird people
Yes.
that none of these people would ever have found an audience 30 years ago if they were trying to because of the way the industry worked. With social media, you can blow up and it's very organic and it's
Mhm.
literally people that are just like you have 2 million followers, it's just random people and you're just some random person making lego sets but also talking about trauma like and that's it and you blow up. People love that. So it has social media has really given way to inclusivity in such a broader way in my opinion. And I think like as much as we shit on it, it really is like I think a lot of people shit on it because they're like, "Oh, it's ruining our industry." Like Hollywood's terrified of it. Hollywood is scared of it because they're like, "Our views are going down. No one's watching our shit anymore. They're all on TikTok." And I'm like, "Yeah, because there's this random African in a car ranting about stupid shit, and they're fucking hilarious. And I love that. Like, I'm like, I'm not from fucking Tunisia, but I want to know what this person has to say. Like, you know, things
Exactly.
like that, where you're like, this is hilarious.
That's it. We're relating as human beings. It's like everything has been boxed in for so many years in Hollywood, and they still don't get it, and the media still doesn't get it.
Hmm.
Anybody who's in charge of anything still doesn't get it. That
Yeah.
people want to see other people, like you said, as long as they're entertaining and they can relate to whatever. Even if you're Southern born 20 generations, if you have issues with your mother, you're still going to
Yeah.
relate. You might not relate to the
I
Kutala,
I
but
was in Puerto Rico in old San Jose,
Mhm.
and this random dude, straight guy, all tattoos, long hair, comes up to me and he's like, "You're that Greek guy on TikTok, aren't you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "I live in Denver. I'm a barber. I don't know, man. I found your shit. I love your mom. I'm not even Greek." And I was like, "This is so crazy. Like, this is crazy now."
It really is. But it just goes to show you what we've all been missing for all these years. There were all these people out there with these stories and so much fun. And
I grew up in New York, so like I grew in Brooklyn, so like I actually didn't experience non-diversity until I was in college. Like I was like I
mm,
had such a diverse upbringing growing up. Like I had everybody, anybody name it. I had them all around me growing up on my
mm.
block, in school, in middle school, in high school. And then I went to college and to a private university in NYU, and I was like, what happened to all the Arabs? Where'd they go?
Where is
Where are
everybody?
my Arab friends?
Yeah.
Where'd they go? So I think it's just the mentality that I've had since a kid, that like if you're different from me, I don't like it does not affect me at all whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
I can suss out if you're crazy or not really easily. And I realized growing up that a lot of people just did not have that experience and therefore like have to really unlearn some of that behavior.
I made such a list of things. You talked about cooking being your mom's superpower. And
Mhm.
I kind of love that, that was her way of pulling the family together, showing her love.
That was, yeah, I mean, that was the way. Like we didn't get I love yous like that. You know what I mean? We just didn't get that, like, I don't know. I just didn't have an affectionate mom. And that's like fine. And when I see affectionate moms out there, I'm always like a little like, huh. Like it's funny because my grandma was like a wild character. My grandma would get drunk and dance on tables. My grandma was wild. She was not an affectionate grandma. She would talk about dirty stuff all the time. She was disgusting. Like she would literally, like, someone asked her what she was making for lunch one day and she was like, arhivia, tiganita, she goes, testicles, fried up. And she was like right outside of church. And I was just like, all right, it is what it is. This is my grandma. So I didn't have like that kind of grandma either. So like one day I was like in an airport and I just saw like the most stereotypical grandma ever. Just like she looked like she was from like a children's book and she had cookies and her like grandchild was running towards her. And I was just like, this is not a life I know at all. But I will say, I know that my grandma's food is definitely better than that grandma's shitty fucking cookies.
You know it.
Is what that kid is missing. So that is that's the truth. But yeah, so I mean, I think yeah, love through food, but and she even showed love through food to like other people in my life. It was an extension not just to us, but like because it was also she didn't speak the language. She never spoke
Mm.
English. And so on top of it being the way that Greek moms communicate in general, for her, it was even more important because it was her showing value in society through food. Like, I don't, you see, I might not speak the language, but I can still be part of the church charity group and bring the best fucking lukumades and bring the best gulurakia. I might not speak the language, but I can still cook a whole fucking dinner for all of your friends for your birthday party, and they'll have food that they've never had before in their life and be like losing their minds.
Yeah.
So it really was for her like, how do I bring value to people around me
Mm.
and bring like, you know, real love, and that was her way.
And that's really, really hard. People don't really understand how hard it is for an immigrant person. My great aunts, none of them learned English. And for them to have to navigate through the world where they didn't understand the language, where the customs of the vast majority of the people were different from theirs, where they would be looked at strangely, sometimes even for that. I don't know if your yaya wore that hairnet thingy.
Oh no, no, she dressed up. My yaya dressed like a slut. I'll be honest. She had like a short purple skirt, purple pumps,
Oh my
this like
God.
knit white thing, and that was like her going out to like nakano ta pragmata mo, pero pinapaus dirape sa outfit, and
Oh my God.
she was so sexy. Oh, my grandma was so sexy. Yeah. My mom did talk about like the first 5 years of being in America was really tough because she had my brother and he was a baby. My dad was off at work. She had no community. She didn't know any Greeks yet. There was a few other people in our family, but like there was nothing. So she was like,
Damn.
until I made two friends, I had literally nobody. So I was like, that's crazy. And it's like, that's that's just in general. That would have been an issue for her, even if she did know the language. And to have done that, not knowing the language, and to still have formed a community is really an insane feat for her to have done. Like she had a lot of friends by the time she passed, and it's interesting. Like I don't know, growing up, like I didn't think it was weird that she didn't speak the language, and then I grew up and I was like, oh, it's really fucking weird that she doesn't speak the language. Like no one has this. Like it was, so you have a different experience, and I had a lot of. And because of that, I really just had a lot of empathy for my mom growing up. Like even as like a 6 year old, I remember just being like, she doesn't know, so I have to help. And like and that extended from just like language to other things too, where I was like, she doesn't know this about American culture, I have to explain this to her. Like you can't, you come to this country, it's like you don't know all the nuances of the history and race and education and all the things going on. And so there was a lot of moments where I had to be like, and this is how it works here.
This is what's happening. Yeah.
This is what's happening. And also like, because I remember telling her about like the Me Too movement, that when that was or that when the Weinstein stuff was going on.
Yeah.
And she was very confused about it because she was just like, I don't understand. And I explained all of it to her. And she was like, back in my day, if a man touched me in Athens in the club, I would take out a knife. I had a knife on me at all times. I take out a knife, I put it to his throat, and I say, "Titelis Ramalaka." And I was just like, yeah, but mom, like not all women are like you. And she really had to take a step back to be like, oh, yes, I understand. And it just, interesting things like that where you're like, yeah, but it, yeah, I don't know. I just never thought it was weird. But the language thing was always kind of interesting because, yeah, first 5 years she was really alone. And she talked about like, if I ever did want to learn the language, I would just want to watch the shows on Netflix.
That's the only good reason for learning
Which I
it.
think is so funny. She's like, I don't know, you guys are always talking about Scream 1, The Karate Kid, Rocky, all this bullshit. I never get the chance to watch it. It's so funny. And she's just like, I want to watch Stranger Things.
Oh gosh. She was such a strong person. You have to have such a strong personality to be able to withstand that sense of isolation. And
Mm.
and even as you make friends, that's still isolating to not.
Yeah, and the thing is yeah, her superpower was food, but then I think when I started doing those videos, at first she was like, you're making fun of me, I don't like this is mean. And then when she realized that I wasn't making fun of her, it really was a documentary about a person. She really was able to be like, okay, no, I want to say something, I have something to say, and she made it her own thing. And she knew when the camera was on her that she could do whatever she wanted. I think like 40 years in America without speaking the language, like these videos in a very weird way gave her that language that she always felt like she wanted. Like people understood her. Random people were able to come up to her on the street and be like, Pore sagapao, you are so funny. I watched this video and the Christmas and the this and the that. And I think she really was able to like find her own voice through
Mm.
those videos.
Really, truly, because it beyond the Greek community, everybody fell in love with her and everybody got her and wanted to see more of her, wanted to hear what she had to say. And that must have been really super empowering for her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
My gosh. And then was she excited about the idea of the cookbook when you first brought it up
Yeah,
to
she
her?
was. I had talked to her about her like for multiple times, and she just her response was always just like, when the grandkids are in kindergarten, when the grandkids are in school, like when I don't have them full time, she's like, it'll be a lot easier. And then,
Yeah.
life happens.
Yeah. Yeah. But you
That's
still,
why I tell people, I'm like, don't do the thing that you're waiting for until like with your parents. Just do it now because they're gonna get old.
yeah. This is the truth. You don't know what the future brings. You had a tremendous last adventure with her.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It's like I think a lot of people have a lot of regrets about things that they couldn't do with their parents before they died, but I felt like I got to do everything, if not like a little taste of everything with her before she
Mhm.
died. So I didn't feel incomplete, and we also ended on good terms. Like we ended on good terms. Like apparently me and my brother, her and my brother Dimitri, apparently like were arguing about some bullshit.
Oh God.
Whereas, like, I feel like I was in a really good place with her. She had no issues with me. I think she hated my ex, and I broke up with him. So she's thrilled now. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, I'm good now. Do whatever you want. So I really did feel like, yeah, we had a great last adventure. And I also feel like nothing was left kind of like unsaid. Like, even with the gay thing, like, I really reached a point with her where I said, there was a moment like a few years ago because I kind of call her a recovering homophobe where she'd be fine and then every once in a while she'd like lose it and I'd be like, come on mom, let's go, no, we were good. But one day like randomly a few years ago she said something kind of mean and I said something to her I've never said as like a, a son, which I was like, that hurts my feelings, I don't like that. And she started crying because I think she had never actually heard it like that before.
Mm,
Like it was never expressed to her in that way, that like you just hurt my feelings and I don't like that you do that. And it really like shook her.
mm,
And after that I never heard one negative word, and it really was something where I was like, oh, she grew a lot, and I think she came to terms with a lot, and so I didn't feel unfinished. I mean, there's definitely obviously things that I wish I could still do with her, this
sure.
cookbook and like other things, but I didn't feel like our relationship was in a place that I feel like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's good. And that's a really good thing to feel.
It is. It really is. And if you don't mind going back again to your coming out to her, I know that that was really hard, but in here you trusted her love for you enough to tell her because it sounded like you just had to like let it out because you were so
Yeah.
tired of feeling like you were hiding something from her.
Mhm.
And I have family members that went well beyond middle age, just not being able to say it. And that was so much of a healthy thing. And she learned from it. And she softened in so many ways. I mean, she was still the tough mom, but she
Mhm.
softened in so many ways because bottom line, she really loved you. And even though
Mhm.
this is something the Greeks will say, oh, this is not good, it's a sin, but okay, whatever. There's the attitude that you still see, but
Mhm.
it's not what it once was. And she allowed you to open her world a bit more and became a bit
Yeah.
more in the know and
Yeah, it's
understanding.
like even though she didn't like my boyfriend very much, like she still fed him and made food for him and did all the things for him and treated him like, like a person's partner. And
Yeah.
so it was an interesting experience to even have that with her.
Yeah, it's interesting because I saw a number of those videos, and I never picked up that she didn't like him because she was always trying to teach him a few words, and she was giving him
Yeah, yeah,
food.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really know that she didn't like him either. There was definitely a couple of things that she would say. Like, there was one time where I was like, "Should I get married?" Because she was telling my cousin Marie to get married. I was like, "Don't you want me to get married?" And she was like, "You know, you're too young. You wait." And I'd be like, "Okay." And then it wasn't until I asked my dad after she died, I was like, "Did she like him?" And he was like, "No, Regas, she hated. He was a vegetarian. The vegetarian thing really bothered her. You have to understand. She uses the chicken stock and everything. She can't do anything with him over. And then he's too old for you. Too old for you. He looked like an old man next to you." And then she goes, also, she thought he was broke. He had no money, eh? No money. And then, I mean,
Not a good prospect for you.
not a good prospect. So yeah, 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 yeah. So it's quite funny, but yeah.
It really is. But I'm so glad that you felt like you were able to talk to her, whereas some people important in my life never felt that they could with their
Yeah,
parent.
my mom always said to me, she's like, even in the midst of it, she was always like, "I'm not going to kick you out of the house, okay? The Americans do this. The other people do this.
Yeah.
They're crazy. We do not kick people out of the house, even if I don't like it." And I'm like, okay, that's fair.
And you know, it really is because there are those who disapprove, but there are very obviously gay people in our congregation at church. And I've never really heard anybody gossiping or anything because, well,
My church, Holy Cross in Bay Ridge, wasn't particularly negative in any way.
mhm.
Um, it's just something that, like, as I grew up, I just kind of like veered away from because I had other experiences that I was like, "Mm, I'm good on this."
It's not for everybody. And I
Yeah.
left for a very long time and went back in my 30s.
Mhm.
And I was like, am I back for the religion or am I back for the entertainment value? I wasn't really
Yeah.
sure at first, but
Right, right. Yeah, it's funny because as I get older, I really am like seeking spirituality in ways, and it's interesting because I didn't think I would, but I am finally getting to a place where I'm like, do I think God exists? No, but I definitely believe in like multiple gods and like really like I definitely fall like towards like the witchy part of
mm,
it, really, if I'm being honest, and like just really, being in tune with the world and energy and that kind of in that way.
yeah. Yeah, that's everybody seeks their own path.
I always go to the church. I will say I go to the church like right here. I light a candle. I sit in the back for like 20 minutes, and then I get out of there.
She'd be so proud of you.
She would like that. She would like that. She would be like, "Okay, Dax, you can't stay 30 minutes. You can't stay for the whole thing." And I'd be like, "No, I'm fucking hungry. Leave me alone." And I carry suanap sa asimis ni sikiamu.
Oh my God. I, like you, never knew how long the services were until my husband made me go to church on time. I had no idea it started that early. So I still have,
Oh, I had no idea either. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
thought
We'd
it
show
was,
up at like 30. We'd get the little thing. We'd leave.
I know it was just before the gospel and communion. You know,
Yeah,
that's where it was. And then all of a sudden, what is all this happening here? And by the
hilarious.
way, my husband is Cuban.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay,
so
yeah.
I was cracking up so much about that. But really, Cubans are kind of Greeks that eat black beans because there's a lot of similarities in the
There are,
culture.
and so it's funny because that's exactly what I would tell my mom when she hated her. Like, because my sister-in-law is Cuban and my brother married her. It's been a long time now. And when she first met her, she was like, Cuban, oh, I hate, no, no, no. And I'd be like, first of all, mom, she grew up in Miami. She's way more American than she is like Cuban the way you think. And I was
Mhm.
also like, Cubans are really similar to Greeks, okay? They're Republicans, they're they're like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the food, the culture, the loudness, the partying. There's a lot of similarities. And she like, no, we're nothing alike. And then as she got to know the culture, she was like, oh, okay, tax, okay.
There's
That's
similarities.
American. Yeah,
Be-
exactly.
because I swore, I said, I'm never, no, I don't want to date a Greek guy. I'm not going to marry a Greek guy. After I married him, I was like, skata. You know, maybe I did marry a Greek guy after all. But
That's hilarious.
he's the one that learned the Greek cooking. He did most of the cooking. So
Oh, awesome.
for Easter and everything, he would do the cooking so that I wouldn't have to, which was great. I was avoiding all those Greek guys. I didn't realize I was dating basically the same.
Basically agree. I know it's funny. Yeah, her parents at one point said something like, "Oh, Dimitri's, Dimitri's okay," and I was like, "They're the same person. Are you kidding me? Stop it. They're two peas in a pod."
I know. It is so funny. People don't even realize.
Mhm.
If you have time, there were just a couple other things I wanted to touch
Oh
base
yeah,
with you on
absolutely.
because I enjoy them so. Vicks.
Oh, the Vicks vapor. I have like 2 bottles of it in my house right now. I love that Vicks stuff. In the winter, that's what I do. I put Vicks and
We
then I sleep.
my son, because I didn't. My husband tried to bring it in the house, and I was like, I have bad memories associated with that constant smell. But my son's really into it, so we do have it everywhere.
Well, the thing I hated the most about it was that my mom would put it all over my body from like head to toe. And then she would put me in these like scratchy wool clothes because they were really warm. And so it was just the smell with the wool and
And the
just being
scratchy
like cold that I
cocoon.
just That's the memory I can't remember. But the smell of it now, I love it. Now I'm like, give it to me all day. I never get sick, and I think it's because of the Vicks.
You're,
I never get sick.
oh my God, you're probably right. Did she used to put it under your nose like a
Yeah.
mustachio? Yeah,
It
under
was
the
like a
nose.
little bit of here, and then she would do the whole chest, the whole back.
On top of it, we had what were called vaporizers back then. I guess it's a humidifier, no vaporizers. And they had a little cup, and she'd stick it
Mhm.
in there, and the whole room would stink of it for months.
I know.
For
I know.
months and
And it's
months.
funny because like years later I asked her and she was like, I fucking hated that stuff. But it was the only thing that worked. And she was like, I would wash my hands. It doesn't even come off your hands, she would say.
No,
It sticks to you.
for months the
Yeah.
stink. So I thought that was so funny.
I find it weird that Americans don't use Vicks because it is an American product technically,
I
but it's
know.
like, why do just like it's just Latinos and like ethnic people that use it? And I'm like, y'all don't know what you're missing out on. It's just menthol. Like y'all have no idea. Like it's so good.
My God, I haven't used it in a long time, but the next time I think I get bronchitis, I'm gonna put it on.
Definitely. It clears your I really love it. I actually funny enough, I was mentioning it in like a podcast or a video, and then Vicks, the company, sent me like a bunch of products. They sent me, I don't have a bath, I only have a standing shower in my apartment, but they sent me like Vicks bath salts. Like I was like, I wish I could use these.
Oh my God. Well, now you got to go
That's
visit
so
your
great.
brother's house and take a bath so you can try
I
them
know I
out.
should.
That
I
is so
definitely
funny.
should.
Oh my God. And the ghosts, which is something my American friends really just like look at me sideways, the ghosts of our family members that come back to visit us.
Yeah.
And that your mother was ghosting you. I thought that was so funny because
She was, yeah. It's funny. I have seen her since. Because I know I tell a story in there about how she never comes to visit me as a ghost, but I have seen her now. I went on a trip to Brazil to go visit a guy, and it was a complete disaster
Mm.
because it just always is. You should never keep the vacation boyfriend at the vacation. And is what I learned. And then I went to go visit him, and then it was a total disaster. And the first night I got to Brazil, she was in my dream, smoking a cigarette, looking at me, pissed off, like "Remalaca, look where you are now." And then, like the next morning, like as like the next 2 days, I realized why she said that. And then I got the fuck out of there.
She was trying to warn you.
Yeah. So I love it. She didn't say again. I love how even in my dreams, she didn't sit there to be like, "I love you. I made you some food. I did this." She showed up even as a ghost to be like, "You're a fucking idiot," which I just thought was hilarious.
That is great. And I love the way you said in one of your little vignettes that the smoke alarm kept going off and you imagine your mother
Yeah,
was standing there smoking a cigarette.
she's definitely there. The smoke alarm is right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's just very close to my kitchen. So every time I cook in here, she's in here like you're doing it wrong.
But I just picture her too with the cigarette right underneath.
Canisere, di canistora.
Oh my God. About a month ago, washing machine froze, the dryer went on the blink, and our stove went on the blink, like almost all at the same time. And I was like, what is happening? And both of my kids turned to me and go, yeah, yeah. What did you do to piss her off? I was like,
Literally.
yes, that's what it
Literally.
is.
So true, so true. But it's weird because I see her in various ways throughout like life now.
Mm.
I don't know what there every like one time I was like somewhere and I just kind of was like, you know what, I kind of need a cigarette right now. And someone just like appeared out of nowhere and was like, "Oh, you need a cigarette." And I was like, there she is. Yeah, she appears to me in like a lot of different ways. Like her death date is my boyfriend's birthday, and there's something weird about that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's weird little things that appear everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's wild.
I know. Even my therapist is not very hippy dippy, but when I said that to him, he was like, "How do you feel about that? Don't get woo on me now. Don't you do that?" Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it must. Does that mean she sent him?
That's what he said. He was like, "Do you think she sent him?" And I was like, "All right, Damon, aren't you like a clinical psychologist? What are we doing here?"
She's going to show up at the cigarette saying, what do you think I sent him for? Are you crazy?
Literally. Yeah, yeah. If we ever get into our first fight, she'll show up in that dream and be like, "Don't fuck this up."
Oh God, there were so many things. Your mother throwing out your stuff.
Oh, I read that story yesterday because I was looking through the book, and I really think that's such a fun story because it is so true. Like, she threw out everything. She would throw out everything. I remember one time all my shirts were gone, and I was like, I go on Facebook, and there's my cousin George wearing a Florence and the Machine t-shirt, and I was like, oh, huh. I didn't realize that, cousin George was into the dog days are over. It was so weird. And then she threw out a pair of boots that I absolutely loved. I paid like $250 for them. They were my whole personality. I wore them everywhere. She just was like, that old, that old. I came home one day, she threw them out, and I was like, I cannot believe you. I cannot fucking believe you right now. There was one time where I came home from LA and I had cockroaches in my apartment. It was my first apartment in LA and it had cockroaches. And I left after 2 months. I broke the lease. I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And I came to visit them and she did not even let me in the house. She made me get undressed outside, come into the house, and then hosed my suitcase down outside in the backyard. And I was like, I can't believe you're doing this right now. But yeah, I mean, I think that story is really about like having anger for someone even after they pass away. And I think there is a lot of truth to that. Like, there's things that she did and things that she said that I do hold anger for.
Yeah.
But you have to just kind of live with it. You have to be like, and that's the relationship you had with that person, and that's always going to be there. Was alive, there was things you weren't going to be able to resolve anyway. So
Yeah.
don't worry about them too much. But there is that anger.
It's absolutely true. It's
And I think it's
absolutely
about
true.
teaching you that like anger is going to be there with people that you love no matter what.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Life is complicated, relationships are complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love having a studio. I wish I wish I had a one bedroom so I could host people and like have like fun nights like that. But like never leave this apartment. It's so perfect because it's big enough that I could like work out in here if I want to. And like the way it's laid out is actually really nice. And like it's all I need. I'm also gone like 6 months out of the year. And it's rent
Oh. Oh
stabilized.
my God. Stay where you
And it's in
are.
a great neighborhood. I have like all the trains around me. So I'm like, this is my Carrie Bradshaw apartment. I'm never leaving this.
Are you still in
I'm
Brooklyn?
never leaving. And my landlords love me, so I'm like,
Oh,
I'm not leaving.
no, stay where you are. When you make your millions, you keep it anyway. You just buy a
No,
house somewhere.
literally. Even if I move in with my boyfriend, I'm keeping this apartment. I don't know what he's gonna fucking do to me.
You may need an escape plan.
Exactly.
That's your mother talking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like her when I tried to do comedy. Okay, just comedy. You have to have something else to make money.
But you do. You're writing for children's shows, right?
Mm, not anymore. I'm doing stand up full time now.
Okay, but
But I was for a while. Yeah, that was paying my bills for a long time
that was
until I was
cool.
able to do stand up full time. And then now I don't have time for it all.
I would think not, because your podcast I listened to a few times also, and I think you stopped that what last year?
I did. We stopped because it just got hard. And then Christina's now in Greece for an extended period of time.
Hmm.
But we're going to start. We've talked about it for 4 hours yesterday. We're going to talk about it. We're going to bring it back. We want to. People, I think it's funny because we really do work really well together, me and
Yeah.
Christina. And I think we love doing stuff together, but at the same time, as creators, we really want to be like, let's do our separate things and let's make sure that we're not like stepping on each other and overlapping. And then she called me like a couple of days ago and she was like, Gus, I think we need to be entangled in each other's lives.
Ah, that's sweet.
More than we already are. And she was like, no, I mean creatively. We're fighting this and we don't have to fight this anymore. And I was like, it's so true.
Yeah, it's fun together, but you have had a lot on your plate.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah. But I know it's funny because I don't think I'm doing enough. And then and then every one of my friends is like, you wrote a fucking book. Shut up.
I know, right? Right? That right there is like, I'm like so
And like, it's
impressed.
funny because when my friend Alana was looking, because when it was just a Word document on my computer, my friend Alana was looking through it and she was like, oh, you wrote a book. And I was like, yeah. She's like, I thought it was just going to be like a bunch of recipes. I didn't realize it was going to be a whole fucking book. And I was like, Yeah, and now like my friend, then now her husband Michael, my best friend in the whole world, like anytime someone is like, I can't do anything, or I feel lazy, or I feel this, and he's like, my friend lost his mom and then wrote a book. You don't do anything. You don't do anything.
You inspire me. You do. You
It's
do.
so funny. Yeah.
It's a lot, a lot. Are you going to be able to have? Well, you're doing the stand up along with the book, which I think is a fantastic idea. It's like a multimedia extravaganza with Yulia and the whole thing. It's that that sounds like a very, very entertaining evening. And I'm assuming you're going from coast to coast with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're starting in Canada in Toronto.
Nice. There's lots of Greeks there, but
Hmm.
as we know, you have appealed all across cultures,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is great. I mean, I have friends who are really fanatics about it. They're like, I don't know what is going on. Explain it to me, but I love it.
I love that. That's really cute.
It is. They're having so much fun. I also want to talk the trip to Crete. I was dying when you said your mother stole things from the restaurant in Crete. She stole everything. Was because she was pissed off at them? So
Well,
she,
she was, no, because she was like, it's nice.
what did she take? I want to know what she stole.
She took like, you know where they put like that raki in
Hmm.
those little cute little
Oh
bottles?
yeah,
She
yeah.
just took one of them. Yeah, yeah, she took one of them.
Because my mother would take like if there were extra rolls or something, they would all go in the purse.
Oh, I mean, yeah, food too, but yeah, she took like actual like plateware and silverware is what she liked to take if she liked it, which I think is hilarious.
This is what I was picturing, but I wasn't sure that's what was happening.
Yeah,
That's
she's like
great.
stealing like, yeah, she's stealing like bottles. She's stealing like, yeah, yeah, things they shouldn't steal at all.
Ah, puliorea. Yeah.
Ξέρω ακριβώς που να το βάλω στο σπίτι. I know exactly where to put it in the house.
Oh my God. What a roller coaster trip that was. And the whole comment of everything in moderation. Everything in
Yeah.
moderation, while there being Looney Tunes all over the place.
Hmm.
But in moderation, Greeks say everything in moderation, but
They don't do anything in moderation. They do
no.
not do anything in moderation. My
There's,
mom smoked 2 packs a day. What are you talking about moderation?
they were so
And
extreme.
but that's Greek mom was like if she smoked so much, but if I picked up a cigarette, she would be like, Tanis, what are you doing?
Uh,
How dare you? And I'd be like, okay, so this is a double standard, great. Like so many things like that. And it was interesting. Everything in moderation is just a very interesting thing in my family because like and I didn't talk about this a lot in the book, but there is a lot of addiction and alcoholism in my family. So I
mhm,
think that's genuinely where that comes from with her. It was like she saw the way that her parents operated. She saw the way that her brothers and her sisters or her sister operated, and other people around her, my dad and his, other family members. And she really was like, it has to be everything in moderation because all of you take this all too far all the time.
mm,
And I think that and I talked about mental health in the book too. And I think that's a real struggle for a lot of Greeks, in fact. Like, I think in the generational trauma, like addiction, depression,
mhm,
anxiety, OCD, like runs rampant in Greek culture, in my
mm,
opinion. And in a lot of those like European mixes.
mhm,
And I think like my mom dealt with a lot of it, and my dad dealt with a lot of addiction in his life. And so everything in moderation was truly her way of being like, you're crazy. You're gonna want to have fun,
mhm.
but you have to fucking relax a little bit
Yeah.
because otherwise you're not gonna be happy in the long run. But there was an acknowledgement there of like, we're gonna have to let loose,
Mm,
but relax if you can. And I think that was an interesting lesson that she always tried to teach us as kids.
yeah. Pump the brakes.
'Cause I really do knew I because my dad's had 4 heart attacks in his life.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good
So
idea.
I lost my dad. One was before I was born, and then two, the other three were during my life. And so I've almost lost him 3 times in my life. Two of them before my mom died, and then one of them was a couple months ago. He almost passed.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so this idea of like everything in moderation was very, very clear, even as like a 10-year-old,
Mm,
really, of like we saw the other side of it
yeah.
if you don't. And ultimately, like, that was, yeah, that's a great lesson that she taught us.
It really is. I mean, sometimes you can laugh at it, but you're
Yeah.
right in the end because there is so much going on.
I mean, we talked a lot of, I talked about mental health in terms of like, because I started going to see a therapist from like my OCD when I was in college, and I did it like against everybody's wishes. Like I had healthcare through my school,
Mhm,
and when I realized that I could just do it by myself and not have to worry about my parents taking me somewhere, I just did it by myself.
mhm,
And like when they found out, it was like a big deal, and it was like a whole thing. And then I was like, I don't really fucking care. This is helpful to me and this is what I need to do. And I
yeah,
know it's going to be helpful. And then as the years went on, I think she genuinely was like, oh, he's not doing those weird things he was doing as a kid anymore. Like over cleaning or washing his hands too much or like closing on and off the lights and
mm,
doing like, whatever. And she genuinely, I think, saw it being like, oh. And then as she got older too, she was with the grandkids a lot. She couldn't hang because she was watching the grandkids so much. She couldn't hang out with her friends as much, and so she was inside with two babies.
yeah,
And she was like, It's lonely, it's depressing, and during the winter it gets really fucking depressing.
yeah,
And she turned to me one day just to be like, you live alone, make sure you're going out and you're socializing because you're going to go crazy. And even that piece of advice I knew was coming from a place of like her own experience and not
mm,
mine, of like, I'm going a little crazy up here and here, and you need, and it's not, it's affecting me. And she would really be like, as the years went on, she would every once in a while turn to me and she'd be like, okay, how's therapy going? This, how's that? Like, are you feeling depressed? And she didn't know how to like really continue the conversation, but she
mhm.
knew how to like express it, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, because Greeks still tend to be very, like, anti-therapy. She really, in so many ways, just stopped and thought about things and
Yeah.
observed and then evolved
Yeah.
her understanding because that when I went into therapy, my mother showed up at the office when I had an appointment because
Oh
she
my God, shut up.
she wanted to she said to him, "I wanted to check you out and make sure you were okay." To the guy, to the therapist.
That's hilarious.
I was
That's fun.
I was like either mortified or see, you know,
This is why
why
I
am
Venmo
you
you right now. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And she did not evolve. She would just say things like, "Well, there is something wrong with you, so I'm glad you're there." She was
Oh my God. I
she
mean,
was
yeah,
so
there was
pissed.
definitely some of that as the years went on. Like, it didn't happen one and two. This was like, 10 years of
Yeah.
bullshit. And then eventually, like, okay. And then eventually, it took a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. But still, that's
Yeah.
so funny. That's how
Yeah.
I see my mother and her, except I think she evolved a little better
Yeah.
than my mom did, which is
There has
pretty
to be,
cool.
there has to be defiance in some way. Like, I think my brother Dimitri had some defiance by marrying a non Greek.
Mm,
Uh, my brother Mario didn't defy a lot. He really stayed in line. Where I was just like, I am defying everything here. Like, I'm defying
yeah.
your gender norms. I'm defying your hetero norms, your career norms, everything here. So I was a real left field for her. So I think that like for her, I think she had to look at me at some point and be like, I gotta like this weird one, or I can't. Like, we gotta move on.
Yeah.
And as a mom, she really was. She chose the latter. She was like, I'm gonna like the weird one. And it is what I think it's funny because my dad even said this to me when I showed him the book a couple days ago. He was like, "Oh, you went to NYU. You know what your mother would say? NYU. You went to NYU. Look at you now. You did nothing with it. Comedy, comedy." And he was made fun of me because he's like, all the time as a child, I want to do what I want. I want to do what I want. I'm not comfortable saying no. And I turned to him and I was like, it worked.
It did.
It did work. I'm 33 now and I'm still, it worked out.
Yeah.
And he literally was like, oh, Scotty. It did work out. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, now you realize it?
No, you blazed your own path and you're picking up steam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think there is that element of like, well, because I think she had to, because she wasn't traditional either. She defied a lot in her childhood. Like, she was young, she was in Athens, she was fucking around, she was dating, she was defying her brothers and her siblings, her older
Mm,
siblings. even getting married to my dad, her parents did not want her to get married to my dad. Uh, there was a lot of defiance throughout my mom's life. So I think that she ultimately was like, game, recognize game. I see you.
Nice.
Yeah.
She could relate to you on that level. That's
Mhm.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool because
Yeah.
it's so tough for them. It's taken me years to understand my mother and the expectations that were put on her as a Greek woman. Just the amount of pressure, cultural pressure to be, I got to make sure everybody's fed. I got to take care of everything. I got to be in charge of everything. I'm the center of everything. I mean, I think of what you wrote about her being that carefree woman going to parties and having fun. And she still wound up in a way, in the expectation, the cultural expectation of the mom, but she was always pushing, pushing back at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
That's where I think the anger comes from a lot with Greek moms.
Yeah.
It's that,
Yeah. 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 It's like, why are you so rigid, but then not?
yeah.
Yeah, like it's funny. Yeah, it my like they would go out and party until 6 a.m. all the time. But if we went out to party until 6 a.m., she'd be like, "You're terrible children. You're wasting your lives." And you're like, "Hey, girl, like what? I can't even call you on Sunday morning."
What are you talking about? It was when my mother's best friend started telling my sister the stories about how they'd all get in a car and go to the sailors. Like there'd be like a bunch of sailors in town or something. And I was just like, my mother, what? My mother, excuse me now? My mother, what?
That's hilarious.
So then I was like, oh, you hypocrite. But I can't even
Yeah.
say that to you because you're gone.
Well, even with my mom, she's like, "No McDonald's, no McDonald's, no McDonald's." You know what she loves? Popeyes. I'm like, "What? What? Leave me alone."
Yeah, that the double standard, the double
Yeah.
standard. My mother would eat like several chocolate covered donuts a day. If I came in and picked up a piece, she'd say, your thighs are so big. Are you sure you want that?
Oh my God,
And
brutal.
she was totally brutal. I was like,
Yeah, I grew up a chubby kid, so my mom was really similar with me about my weight. Yeah. That is one thing that I have a lot of anger about. Like that really fucked me up as a kid, for sure. Like between her and my brothers and like my weight, it was brutal in there. So the body dysmorphia will never leave me, but like it is what it is at this point. You know what I mean? Like I think there's enough people around me that have had a very similar experience that we can all just be like, our bodies are beautiful. Way they are. It really takes a lot of effort.
it,
Yeah.
it does because in the back of the head, I gained some weight over the past couple of years, and every time I can't fit in a pair of pants, I hear my mother saying, "Well, you do have very big thighs." It's like, damn.
I know. My mom would do this thing where we would go to the mall and I would pick out a shirt and she would be like, "Small, you need an extra large." And I'd be like, "Okay, at least a medium, first of all." Because, I'm also small. Like, so being a chubby kid and 5'2" is like, you need a medium probably. That is what it is. That's definitely something you have to be like, okay, well, that's a time period thing. But also, that's something that never changes. Look at the stupid GLP-1s things that are going on now.
Uh,
It's like as much as I wish I could be like, it's immigrant moms and it's parents, it's, you
everywhere.
know, it's everywhere.
Greeks don't really like dogs in the house, but there was
Oh, the
Bruce.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Bruce. Bruce is old now. I asked my brother how Bruce is doing, and Bruce is like 11 now. So,
Bruce.
Bruce is on his way out, unfortunately, but she liked that dog. I don't think, she did like that dog. I mean,
We saw
the
the
problem
videos.
the problem with Bruce is that Bruce was like my brother. Loud, annoying, a wreck, you know what I mean? So like he really was my brother's dog. And so if Bruce was like a well-trained dog, like me and my ex had a very well-trained dog, and she was like, this is a very different experience. But Bruce was a nightmare. But she still liked Bruce. Like even with Bruce, like he was an escape artist.
Mhm.
And so if you left the door open, he would go. And she multiple times would run home with him just like by his legs and be like I had to chase him down Fifth Avenue today. He was running. I made it 15 blocks and finally a police officer stopped him. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
there was one time where like he escaped and both my parents were running down like Third Avenue chasing him. It was just like every day was a thing. And they wouldn't tell my brother that it would happen. So she would just, don't tell him anything. And I'd be like, this is ridiculous. But like you did chase him and you did bring him home. So you do love him.
That is so funny.
It's so funny.
Oh my God. I love the pictures of her with the dog. It was so
Oh
cute.
yeah, that's my ex's dog, Cashew. She was really cute.
Oh, was that that wasn't Bruce? What kind of dog was
I think there's one of Bruce in there. I think there's a couple of Bruce in there, but then there's one that
it?
has the little poodle is my ex's dog.
Mm.
Yeah.
But she seemed to love the animals, which is, yeah, my mother did too. We kept, well, she was born here, so she was of a different mentality. So we
Yeah.
would
It's funny
drag
because
from everything.
The Greeks in Greece now are all about the dogs. They all have dogs.
No,
They
it's
love the dogs now. Yeah.
something that you did that really touched me. We spoke about the Vasilopita before, that you're cutting the piece for your mom, because we always cut for Christos, for Maria, and then go on through the whole family, and you're still including your mom.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have to. She might win the Flutie. Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes I might forget to do the Koliva, but she'll always be part of my new year, and that's nice. I mean, Vasilopita is also like my favorite thing, and it's something you only really have once a year, and so it's like I have to. It's nice to just cut a slice for her.
Yeah, it was really nice. I found
Yeah,
that very touching. My
yeah.
mother would have liked that. So I didn't cut one for my mother. So maybe that's why the dryer, the washer, and the stove.
Oh yeah, she's pissed.
She's
She's
pissed
definitely
because
pissed.
it's the first time I
The
made it.
recipe I have in there for the Vasilopita is so easy. So it's super super easy.
I may
Like you
try
can just
yours.
you could do it in like 30 minutes with a spoon. It's real and no mixer needed. It's so easy.
I'm gonna try it because her recipe. I had a headache by the end of the day. You were waiting to get on Comedy Central,
Mhm.
and your big break came 3 months after she died.
Yeah. What a fucking brutal email to get,
Oh,
honestly. It was so brutal to have to be like, hey, you want to do Comedy Central in a month?
oh,
Meanwhile, it was like just after Christmas, and I was like, I don't want to do anything.
no.
But yeah, I use it as an opportunity to tell that story. And I think it turned out really great. And it was a really hard thing for me to do. But just like the book, it was like, hey, I fucking did it. I don't know how, but I fucking did it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was a great experience. I had a really good time doing it, and it turned out really well. And I
it
got to
did.
write the last like 2 or 3 minutes. I got to write all of that new for that, which I thought was cool. And I don't know, it all turned out good. And I think if I had done Comedy Central before she died, I think I would not be as happy with the set that I did as I am now. I think right now I have like a a really good story up there that stands on its own. Whereas before it would just be like a series of jokes,
Mhm.
a set of jokes, and now it's all really connected in a beautiful way. So I like how it turned out.
I do too. I saw it. I thought it went
Yeah.
really well. I was proud of
Thank you. Boy, that was my old hair.
it. No, and you look great. I love the
Oh, I know.
curls.
I like it. It's funny. It's just I didn't know it was gonna be curly. It's really interesting.
Do you wear a bonnet?
I do. I just have it over there. It fell off in the middle of the night last night, so I it's a little messy today, but it
I
is what it is.
Mine, I swear I didn't move in bed. And this morning, because there's a little thingy up here, and it was turned around all. I was like, what is it, doing a Linda Blair in the middle of the night because my whole thing was.
I will say most nights I find it anywhere. Like I find it on the floor, I find it under the bed.
Yeah,
I move around a lot, so I'm bad. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're doing so many exciting things right now.
No, I mean we talked about so much. I feel like I promoted everything I need to promote actually.
Honestly, like I said, every single one of those vignettes, I could keep you on for an hour.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I worked really hard on it and seeing people reading it now and actually appreciating it for what it is, I'm like, oh, okay. Because when I was writing it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is and if people are going to like this or if it's any fucking good. And then after like the first few people read it, I was like, okay, yeah. I do. I do. This is exactly what I think it is. So it feels really good to just hear that.
It
Yeah.
it is great. I mean, my husband loves to cook, so he'll sit there in bed with a cookbook and read. I don't do that. I'll look, is that a nice recipe? Well, whatever. I sat there and I read it from the introduction, which was lovely as well. The acknowledgments, I read everything because everything was great and everything tied all together and it was a journey. It
Thank
wasn't
you. Yeah.
just, and I appreciated that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to order my hard copy and April 7th they're coming out, right?
April 14th.
April 14th now. Okay. Oh, so after Easter.
After Easter, yeah. There was like a publication delay, but also I think after Easter is probably going to be a little easier for everybody in terms of like they'll be less distracted.
Yeah, we can now eat meat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I want the kima. I'm gonna go after those recipes. And I did not grow up with the meatball soup.
Oh, the you better like, yeah.
I did not grow up with that. So I was like,
Yeah, they're super easy actually because you just make them. Yeah, the rice is not. You don't have to even cook the rice. You put the rice uncooked in there, so they're really easy.
bravo.
Yeah,
The simpler it is, the more I like it. I think you're right. I think after Easter's probably good. So it'll be
nice.
great. Where are your books being sold? Everywhere?
Yeah, everywhere pretty much. I mean, they're going to be on Amazon, but they're at Barnes and Noble. They're going to be everywhere, and I think the pre-orders are doing really well. So my publisher was like, "There'll be a lot in rotation because of that too, because they'll print a lot,"
Oh,
which is cool.
bravo. That's really
Yeah,
good. And they're
yeah, yeah.
hardcover?
Yeah, they're hardcover. I can show you. Hold on one
Oh,
second.
let me see.
Oh wait, where is it? Oh,
In your little apartment, you lost your
I
cookbook.
was like, I have it open for the Burak. Yeah, here it is.
Ah,
It's
see,
quite
that's
big.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So you have the whole everything. Oh, you divided like that right here.
Ah, see. In the PDF, you can see the pictures and everything, but I'm a handsy person, so I want the book in my hand.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's like even you see a PDF and you're like, it's a PDF. And then when I got the book, my publisher gave it to me, and I was like, and she was there. I thought they were gonna mail it to me so I could have this experience alone, but she was there, and like my marketing person was there, and the editor was there, and they gave it to me, and I opened it, and I just started sobbing.
Oh, oh,
It real. It felt real. Like, and they said that to me. They were like, once it goes from a Word document to a PDF and you see the design, it'll feel really different. And then once you see the book, it'll feel really different. And I was like, yeah, it feels different. Yeah.
I can't wait to get the book. And are you still going into churches and doing stand up there? Are you done with that?
I do it a little bit, like if they ask, but it's just not my main thing anymore. But like, I think especially with the book, I think I'll probably be doing a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because St. George and Clifton in New Jersey, you did. I was very jealous, and I don't remember where I was that I couldn't get there that night. And I was so.
Yeah, the Clifton show was fun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Reaching out to a lot of people, like especially the churches that I've already done to
Mhm.
like for promotion to see
Yeah.
what they can do. And a lot of them are reaching back out to me, just being like, of course, and also if you want to do an event here, let us know. We'd love to organize something. So yeah, there'll probably be some of that coming up, which is nice.
Fantastic. What a delight you are to me on a
Oh,
daily basis and to meet you.
so
That was
good to
just,
meet you. Yeah, so great to meet you. This was so much fun.
we're all excited for you and we're all
Yeah,
trying to get our hands on the books.
awesome. I can't wait. It's a month away now. This is crazy.
Oh, it's happening so fast. My
Wow.
God.
Good to meet you. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, take care, Gus.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Special thanks to Gus Constantellis for taking time out of his extremely busy schedule to talk to us. We'll be linking the video that shot Gus to fame, his book tour dates, and an image of the cookbook in the episode notes. Thanks for listening. Greek Like Me is a Stealth Greek production. Our producer, photographer, and post-production editor is Douglas John. Visit our website at stealthgreek.com for resources, photos, links, and more. Rate, like, and subscribe. It helps us keep making content about Greeks and Greek culture. See you next time. Yassas.